Hey, what's up guys? This is Kevin the Tech Ninja, and in this video, we're gonna compare the Pixel XL versus the OnePlus 3T. I just did a review on the OnePlus 3T, and a lot of you guys wanted me to compare it to the Pixel XL. So that's what we're doing here today. Now, as you guys know, the Pixel XL has been my daily driver since the day it came out, but then I stopped using it for the OnePlus 3T for about a week. And I actually switched back and forth a little bit, and I have a really good understanding of both phones and how they interact in a real world scenario. We're not gonna harp on specs, we're not gonna run benchmarks, but we're gonna actually talk about how I use the phone every single day and what I ran into when using both devices. If you're ready like I'm ready, hang on to your butts, boys and girls. This is a phone battle. All right, let's start off with the very beginning basics that the Pixel XL starts off at 32 gigabytes and it's $770 versus the 64 gigabyte of the OnePlus 3T, which is $440. So right then and there, we noticed that there is a huge price difference between both devices. Now the Pixel XL starts at 32 gigabytes and the OnePlus 3T starts at 64 gigabytes. So the price difference and the size difference is really important to note here because, you're doing video in 4K now with these devices, you have games that take up a lot of space, and pretty much everything you do on your phone, you're taking up space now, and you don't have SD cards on both devices as well. So having 64 gigabytes to start off with is a huge advantage versus the 32 with the Pixel XL. Now both devices are upgradable to 128 gigabytes, but then you have the Pixel XL around $900, which puts it very unaffordable for most people. Now as far as how they feel, they're both around the same size. The Pixel XL is taller and a bit thicker. Now in hand, the Pixel XL does feel awkwardly tall for me, and I always had to tuck my pinky underneath it to kind of keep it into place. And for me, that chin was just really weird to look at. It reminds me of an iPhone without the button, and for me, that just makes it look weird. When I set this phone down next to a white iPhone, they look very, very similar, and I don't think the iPhone is really a great looking phone. Now, the OnePlus 3 on the other hand, it does have a larger bezel, but there is a button, kind of a square touchpad button there, which actually fills up some of the chin, and it's not as tall too, so I don't have that same awkward pinky hold underneath the chin, and also I don't have to adjust my hand as much to get to the top notification bar. Now the fingerprint sensor on the OnePlus 3 is actually on the front where that little touch button is, versus the Pixel XL, which is on the back. Now, as far as speed, I didn't realize how slow the Pixel XL fingerprint scanner was, and I use the word slow very loosely because it is still a pretty fast fingerprint sensor, but when you compare it to the OnePlus 3, there is no question of which one's actually faster. The OnePlus 3T flies right past the Pixel XL with the fingerprint scanner speed. Now both devices do have bottom-facing speakers. The Pixel XL does have 2 speakers, while the OnePlus 3T just has the 1 speaker. Regardless, they're towards the bottom, your hand covers them up, they become muffled when you're playing games or you're holding your phone in the landscape orientation. Both phones' speakers become held up a little bit and a lot of the sound becomes muffled. But as far as which one sounds better, which one gets louder, I'll let you guys be the judge. I'm gonna play the same thing with the volume all the way up. Let me know what you think down below. Now for me, I think the Pixel XL gets louder, but it just doesn't sound as crisp as the OnePlus 3T. I think the OnePlus 3T just is more crisp sound. I think music sounds a lot better. While the Pixel XL is louder, OnePlus 3T is my pick for the best speaker. Now both devices are made out of aluminum, which is really nice. They both feel extremely premium. Even at the non-premium price tag of the OnePlus 3T, you do have a very nice premium build. But a good thing with both devices is that even though they're made of metallic, the Pixel XL does have this glass on the top, and mine is already scratched up. But there is something you can do. You can also get a dbrand skin, and when you get a dbrand skin, what that does is it's kind of a wrap. It changes the way the device looks and feels, and for the Pixel XL, it's such a slippery phone. get a debrand skin, you can add a little more grip. And also the OnePlus 3T is a little bit slippery too. You can debrand that if you want. It's really up to you, but I do recommend getting a debrand skin, especially if you want to change the style up a little bit or add some grip. But we go back to those bezels, dim bezels on, on the Pixel XL, and those bezels are huge, man. And it really reminds you that you're looking at a phone. You don't sort of have that screen just sort of disappearing like you have with the OnePlus 3T. Since the bezels are so thin, it really makes the screen feel a little bit bigger. They're both 5.5 inches and they're both relatively the same screen. Now the Pixel XL is a Quad HD display, and that's something we will see a little bit later. And it is a higher resolution, which obviously means better image, mostly. No? Does it mean better image? Well, if you ask me, I think as far as image and the sharpness and how crisp everything looks, I think for day-to-day operations, it's not that much better. But when you do turn on a 4K video and you have the option to go to Quad HD, or you're looking at images, you can pinch to zoom. The pixels per inch, the PPI, really comes into play when you have a higher resolution screen. So the Pixel XL screen looks better. It gets really bright in daylight, anywhere, it gets really bright. It looks good. You know, although I do like the colors on the OnePlus 3T, don't get me wrong, but I think the Pixel XL, as far as the screen is much better than the OnePlus 3T. Now, as of this week, the OnePlus 3T got an update to Android 7.0, which is really nice to see. In my review, I did knock it for not having the latest version of Android. So right now they're on the same OS. But when you really compare software, it's like, what's more important to you? Is it features, or is it knowing that you're gonna have the latest OS at all times? That's one for you. For me, I sort of like having the latest OS. I like to test drive the newest features, but the OnePlus 3T software isn't like a bloated skin by any means, but what it actually is, it's like a stock version of Android, but it has these enhancements on top of it. If you ever flashed ROMs before in the past, then you'll know what I'm talking about. It has these enhancements on top of it that makes it feel more complete. You have options, you have dark mode, light mode. You have a couple other things you can do. You can adjust the buttons, like how they look and everything. And you have a lot more control than you do with the Pixel XL. Now, both devices do support USB-C, which is nice, but the Pixel does have a larger battery at 3,450 milliamp versus the OnePlus 3T, which is 3,400 milliamp. The difference is so small, I can't tell the difference, especially when, you know, using the phones for a whole day or what have you. And the screen on operations, I feel the OnePlus 3T does a better job with battery just because it's a lower resolution screen, doesn't draw as much power, but day to day, I didn't notice a huge difference. I was reaching for the charger around the same time every day. Now, when it comes to actually charging your device, the dash charging is the fastest charging solution I have ever seen. That beats the quick charge completely. So if being able to juice up your phone really fast is important to you, then the OnePlus 3T is going to be the one that you can actually use to get that the fastest charge possible. Now, when you look at performance, I know a lot of people are going to look at the processor, look at all these specs, and you notice that the OnePlus 3T does have 6 gigabytes of RAM versus the Pixel XL, which has 4 gigabytes of RAM. Like, what are you going to notice? What things are different? And as far as running apps, opening apps, everything's the same. But when you start doing some hardcore multitasking, I'm talking bouncing between a couple games. Like, these are things that I don't do on an everyday basis, and I only do them when testing phones for review. The OnePlus 3T is the fastest, most fluid phone that I have used as far as multitasking and day-to-day operations. Fast. But if you don't bounce between several apps, if you don't flip back 20 apps ago and launch an app and expect it to be there, then the Pixel XL runs just as good. But for a phone that's more expensive, should it run just as good or should it run better? And that's sort of what we have to look at when we consider the price differences. The camera on the OnePlus 3T has matching 16 megapixel cameras, meaning the front-facing camera is 16 and the back-facing camera is 16 megapixels as well. In my experience, the camera is really bad at low light. It seems like the image falls apart really fast. Now, when you look at the Pixel XL camera, its lower megapixels is 12.3, but it has larger pixels, which allows you to get more light in lower situations. It also has an 8 megapixel up front too. Now, what I am noticing about the Pixel XL, although it's better at low light at taking pictures, some of the pictures here you're seeing were taken with the Pixel XL in some pretty dark situations, I guess, is that it does have issues focusing in low light, which is sort of weird for a camera that's so good in low light, but it does have issues focusing. And that comes into play a lot, especially when you're dealing with video. There was times where I was walking through a house trying to record, and it just wouldn't focus on anything. And it wasn't like a very dark situation, but it was enough low light where it just couldn't snap on to what I was looking at, or it lost focus in a few seconds. Also, if you look at my Instagram videos or anything like that, I do have issues focusing with the Pixel XL. The OnePlus 3T focuses very fast, but overall, the OnePlus 3T is kind of a slow camera. If you look at this example here, you see the OnePlus 3T is having a hard time keeping up with my taps, but the Pixel XL is taking a picture every single time. So either the cameras aren't perfect on the device. The Pixel XL is a great camera. Don't get me wrong, when you're able to focus, you're taking pictures, everything looks great. Looks balanced, dynamic range is good. It's a fast shutter, has great burst photos. The Pixel XL doesn't do great in low light, but when you have adequate light, front-facing camera is sharp, it looks good. Rear-facing camera, sharp, it looks good, but you have to have good light. So this one right here is sort of a toss-up. So here we are to the conclusion, which phone is better? I think when you consider the price, the OnePlus 3T runs laps around the Pixel XL. If money is no object to you, get the 128 Pixel XL. Best phone you're gonna find right now in the market, period. As far as you're gonna get the best software, you're gonna get the best performance, you're gonna get really good camera, but you are gonna have that focusing issue at low light sometimes, but most of the time you will get a great shot, and just an overall great phone, and you're gonna have support, you're gonna have the latest version of Android, and you're gonna have a good experience. But overall, guys, that's sort of my quick real world comparison between the two phones. If you like this style of video, it's a little bit different, sort of off the cuff, non-scripted, let me know down below. Say, hey, I like this style. I like your style. And that's it. I'm Kevin the Tech Ninja. Tap my face if you like the video. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
KTTN, say it again. Tell a friend that it's him again. Yo, real talk, opinions gon' be sharper than 4K. Scope Squad, eat it up, simmer it, saute. Ninja got reviews and rants galore. You ain't never seen a channel like this before. No hashtag.